Hey y'all, so this video is for individuals and small businesses who are interested in knowing a little bit more about the 1099K, the new changes, and if you do sell goods or services like PayPal, Square, Etsy, Venmo, or other third-party organizations. This could even include online marketplaces, or if you accept credit cards or debit cards, this is the video for you. Even those people that are, maybe using Cash App, this video again is for you. By you watching this video, you will come out with a lot of new information in regards to Form 1099K, why it matters to you if you're an individual or a small business owner selling goods or services, and this will help you be able to comply with the IRS and the new tax laws and avoid mistakes. Everything I say, it's with the intention to inform you as best as I can about what the IRS has already provided to the public. I will inform you best about the new IRS changes. I am Daphne. I am a tax preparer. I do handle tax preparation, bookkeeping, quarterly filings for individuals and small businesses. If you're somebody who's interested in those services in the southeast part of the United States, I do help people in Tennessee, Mississippi, Louisiana, Arkansas, Georgia, Kentucky, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Florida be able to help them out with their taxes and in the filing process. Now let's go ahead and get started. All right, so today I'll be breaking down the IRS new updates in regards to Form 1099K that was released on October 2025. The update replaces earlier FAQs, which were questions and answers that were offered on a PDF sheet for February 2024. There's now been major changes when it comes to the Form 1099K that is issued in regards to what do you do if you receive one, and how third-party payment apps and marketplaces will handle reporting. Now, to educate you about what the Form 1099K is, it is an IRS information return used to report payments you receive from goods or services. You might receive one if you sell products or provide services, are paid through credit or debit cards, or you get paid through apps or online marketplaces like PayPal, Venmo, eBay, or Etsy. So this is usually the most common. You'll see a lot of hairdressers, barbers use these. Square, for example. And the IRS uses Form 1099K to ensure that income is reported correctly and to improve tax compliance, making sure that you're reporting your income as accurately as possible. So if you get a Form 1099K, this means a payment settlement entity or a third-party payment app did report your payments to the IRS. Let's talk a little bit about the reporting threshold and what exactly this is. The big question that a lot of people have is, when will I receive a Form 1099K? And the answer to that has changed due to the bill that now has been passed. There's a bill and it's called the One Big Beautiful Bill. This is a federal law that was signed in July 4th of 2025. It was this year that drastically has affected how taxes work. Previously, we had a different threshold, meaning that, for example, a third-party payment app, you can also call it a third-party settlement organization, must issue you now a Form 1099K only if your total payments of goods and services exceed $20,000 and if you have more than 200 transactions in a year through that third-party payment app. It was called the American Rescue Plan Act rule. The threshold was just $600. Once you hit that $600 threshold, at the time, you were automatically issued a 1099K form. But since things have now changed under this One Big Beautiful Bill, now the threshold is a lot higher. And payment card transactions have no minimum threshold at all. Even 1 cent can trigger a 1099K. So just to clarify a little bit more, there is a payment card. What is a payment card? Let's be more specific. Payment cards basically include credit cards, debit cards, or store value cards like gift cards. So again, like I said, in some states, even 1 cent can trigger a 1099K through a payment card. Third-party settlement organization, this word itself is an app or marketplace that handles payments between buyers and sellers. This could be PayPal, this could be Cash App, or Etsy. It could be any third-party settlement organization. Payment settlement entity. This is a company that processes cards transactions for merchants. This is very common for small business owners if you want a third-party company to go ahead and process the card transactions for your customers. Now, if a payment settlement entity or a third-party settlement organization makes payments to you for goods or services, they must file Form 1099-K and send you a copy. Form 1099-K does report your gross amount of payments that you receive. This means the total dollar amount before fees and before refunds and before discounts. It doesn't account for fees or shipping costs, refunds or discounts, or the original purchase price of any items that were sold. Now, on your own time, you'll use your own records to figure out your taxable portion, how much tax you owe, and that's where I come in. I'm a tax preparer, so I can help you go ahead and get you through the filing process, individuals and small businesses. If you do receive a Form 1099-K, this is what you need to know. First thing is that you need to compare your records to make sure that it's accurate. You want to ensure that the Form 1099-K is as accurate as possible when you receive it from the third-party company, let's say it's PayPal. The second thing that you must know is use it when you're filing your return. You're going to be using this form when you're filing your tax return to report the income for goods or services that you sold. Then the third thing is that you have to determine if the payments are taxable. The reason why I say this is because selling personal items at a loss, like used furniture or electronics, is not taxable. That is not included as a taxable purchase since you did not make profit from the time you bought it to the time you sold it. Make sure that if your 1099 form is incorrect, you contact the filer listed on the top left-hand corner of the form and ask for a corrected 1099-K. If you can't get it corrected on time before you file, the IRS allows you to zero out the incorrect income on Schedule 1 of Form 1040. Now, I will mention some situations that a lot of people may go through. If you've just sent or received personal payments, gifts, or reimbursements from families, that does not count. It should not trigger a 1099-K. That's why a lot of the time on Cash App, they'll ask you, are you sending this money for friends and family? That should not trigger a 1099 form if that's the only form of income that you've received is through friends and family. The reason for this is because it's still considered a gift, so any gift is not considered income. Some funds may be taxable if they're payments for goods or services, but generally gifts are not taxable. Now, if you have kids that get a 1099-K form for selling items or services, they may need to file their own tax return, but it really just depends on your own circumstance. If you do receive multiple 1099-K forms, you add up all of the forms and use your own records to determine your actual taxable income. Good record keeping is very important. Always separate personal and business transactions if you're a small business owner. Side note, payment apps and merchant processors are required to file 1099-Ks electronically if they issue 10 or more information returns in a year, if they furnish copies to payees. Now, on to those that like to resell tickets. Now, this one's a big one because the 2025 FAQs has new guidance on ticket resales. There has been a new executive order basically adding more restrictions to reselling tickets, since that's something a lot of people like to do. That must be reported. So if you make money from reselling tickets, the income that you make must be reported typically on a Form 1099-K, 1099 MISC, or a 1099 NEC. It just depends on the type of transaction that you have. Now, to sum up this video as best as I can, Form 1099-K reports gross payments for goods and service. The federal threshold is now over $20,000 or more and 200 transactions, but card payments have no minimum. That must be automatically applied on the 1099-K. If you do receive personal transactions, gifts, and reimbursements, those are not taxable. Always make sure to keep detailed records, reviewing your 1099-K, making sure that everything is accurate for tax season, because that's how you're going to be as best prepared as possible. And again, my name is Daphne. I am happy to help you as a tax preparer in the Southeast of the United States. So if you need my help, I would love to help you. Thank you so much.